can call in, you can chat, you can pick up the microphone in our own case, through the X platform and interact with us in the studio in real time. So radio has metamorphosized from what it used to be to what it is now, and we have indeed created many platforms for you to essentially cherry pick. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, on Movement Radio on YouTube. We have Alaba Ferreira on Facebook. Of course, on X, we are also streaming using video, Alaba Ferreira, and of course on Instagram. So feel free to interact with us from any of these platforms. We are here again, and I believe we would have a robust conversation. We have quite a number of articles lined up for your, listening pleasure, and of course, not just to make you feel good, but to indeed expose you to very insightful perspective on matters that borders around our national development, on nation building. So, without further ado, I'll pass the mic to our correspondent in Abuja.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in any part of the world. This is Abdullah Salisu from Abuja, Nigeria. Time check is 5:50. 15 minutes, 10 minutes to 6, right here in Abuja. So, welcome you all to another interesting edition of the program. And today we name it The Price of Forgetting. So, actually, it's going to be a big punch on all of us. A punch on all of us in the sense that all of us are going to be questioned. We're always going to question ourselves. Because, as we said, movement radio is a voice of what? Rational thinking is a voice of what? Liberation. So we are here to liberate ourselves. We are here to liberate and connect. We'll connect and then get away the liberation. So thank you and you're welcome all. We look forward for your input in all our social media platforms. TikTok, Twitter, X, Facebook, and YouTube. Any of the platform you can pick, either comment or go on X, you pick the mic and you give your input, because is all our collective actions, all our collective views are all needed. Nigeria is not for me alone, it's not for you alone, it's for all of us. So, and the movement radio is here for you, is the voice of alternative, where it gives you a way to air out your opinion, to say your voice, and give you other alternative from the what the government say, the president say, the senate say, the minister say, the governor, or any other public official. Here we discuss the public issue, and this is what a court of public discourse. So thank you all, and you are all welcome.
Yes, thank you. So today we want to take a look at an article written by uh, the written by Price Amariche, The Price of Forget, and we will be Kyo Amariche. Sorry, I almost murdered that name. And this article talks about a particular kind of poverty that does not show up in GDP report. It does not register on the World Bank Poverty Index. It's not by routers or quantified by the IMF. It is the poverty of a people who have lost the habits of thinking, who have been stripped deliberately or carelessly of history, the context of history, and the intellectual confidence to demand better from those who govern them. That is the state Nigeria is in today, and that's why we want to talk about things like this. Nigeria is suffering from this poverty today, and the consequences are catastrophic. So, we will go over the article and we would have a question after the article. First, we will do the main reading of it, and then we will do um, uh, like a pidgin translation of it so that our message can get across to all and sundry, all Nigerians. And, we don't like to use the term common man. We're the only one that declassifies our people as the masses, the common man. That's segregation. That's white supremacy we're passing down to generation. So this article was written by Kyo Amarache. I believe he lives in Stockholm in Europe, and he wrote the price of forgetting how Nigeria destroyed its intellectual foundation. So I'm going to read it, and then my colleagues Abdullahi and Ebukunlu are going to do the breakdown for us, and then they're going to tell us what the questions or issues we want to bring out of this whole issue. So the first paragraph there says it all about where we are in the country. The price of forgetting. There is a particular kind of poverty that does not show up in GDP reports. It does not register on the World Bank Poverty Index. It cannot be photographed by Reuters or quantified by the IMF. It is the poverty of a people who have lost the habit of thinking and who have been stripped, deliberately or carelessly, of history, context, and the intellectual confidence to demand better for those who govern them. Nigeria is suffering from this type of poverty, and the consequences, as we are seeing on a daily basis, are indeed very catastrophic. Let us begin with the numbers and statistics so you can have an idea of what we are talking about. Currently, about 20.2 million Nigerian children who are currently out of school, the highest figure on earth, according to UNICEF, and those who always ask for data. In a country where over 44% of the population is under the age of 15, that is not a crisis. That is a civilizational emergency. And yet, the federal government allocated just 6.39% of its 2024 budget to education, less than half of the 15 to 20% that UNESCO has long as identified as the minimum threshold for a functioning system. Walk into a Nigerian public school today and you will encounter something that defiles ambition of independence. The system still operates to the rhythm of the colonial era regulations and syllabuses, conceived for a world that no longer exists. Students memorize facts just to pass exams. Teachers race to complete outdated syllabuses, and the product, year after year, is graduates who struggle with writing, problem solving, collaboration, and basic digital skills. We have built at enormous public expense a machine that manufactures certificates while systematically destroying the capacity to think. The oil cost did this to us. We must not pretend this happened by accident or some invisible force descended upon Nigeria and erased an intellectual culture. No, there was a specific historical moment when the rot set in and it wore a golden disguise. The oil boom of the 70s was, by any economic measure, extraordinary. Nigerian GDP in the 70s stood at $12.55 billion, and by 1981 had grown to $164 billion. But that wealth was urgent us. Agriculture's share of GDP fell from roughly 60% in 1960 to under 25% by 1980. Before the oil era, Nigeria had been self sufficient in food and a world class agricultural exporter. As oil revenue rose, cocoa production dropped by 43% between 1972 and 1983, rubber by 29%, granite by 64%, cotton by 65%, and in 1960, agriculture made up 97% of Nigerian export revenues. By the end of the decade of oil, that discipline, that relationship with the land, that productive labor with earned wealth was effectively dead. What replaced it is fast money, contracts, connections, the worship of the man who knows someone who knows the minister. A culture in which the goal was not to build something, but to capture something, a slice of the national cake, as the phrase so revealingly goes. In accordance with what economists call the resource cost, the 70s oil boom led to a near complete economic crash in the following decade. By 1989, Nigeria had been reclassified as a low income country and was qualifying for World Bank assistance. A humiliation for a nation that had entered the decade as Africa's most promising economy. The numbers tell a damning story of a squandered opportunity. Nigeria's GDP per capita reached a brief high of $2,187 in 1981 before declining again, climbing back only to an all-time nominal high of 3,200 in 2014 after rebasing exercise. Today, that figure stands at $824. Meanwhile, the African Development Bank outgoing president Dr. Akinwumi Adesina stated in 2025 that Nigerians are in real terms worse off than they were at independence. In the 70s, China's GDP per capita was $111, almost exactly half of Nigeria's 233. Today, China's GDP per capita exceeds $13,000. The divergence is not economic, it is philosophical. It is the difference between a nation that invested in knowledge, discipline, and manufacturing, and a nation that pumped oil and called it development. History was not lost, it was removed. Perhaps the most telling indictment in this, history as a subject was removed from Nigeria's basic education curriculum in 2008. Not allowed to wither, not quietly reduced, but removed. An entire generation of Nigerians, now up to the age of 30 years old, as the education minister himself recently acknowledged, is this, by his own words, totally disconnected from our history. The minister noted that it doesn't happen in any part of the world. He is correct. It does not happen in any serious country. History is not a luxury subject. It is the architecture of national identity. Without it, a people cannot understand where they came from, cannot interrogate what is being done to them, and cannot imagine what they should be going. The government has announced history will be reintroduced in 2025. One applauds the intention while noting the irony. A Tinubu administration whose own conduct has generated some of the most disturbing chapters in Nigerian recent history is now charged with restoring historical consciousness to a population it has simultaneously impoverished and surveilled. The intellectual consequences are visible every day. Anyone who writes about Nigeria, who publishes commentary, analysis, and accountability journalism in the public interest, encounters the consequence of this collapse daily. The responses are frequently incomprehensible, not because Nigerians are unintelligent, but because the intelligence has been starved of the nutrients it needs to function. History, literature, international affairs, the ability to construct an argument without simultaneously translating it from Yoruba or Igbo in one's head and losing logic in transit. The argument in English without simultaneously translating from Yoruba Igbo in one's head and simultaneously losing the logic in transit. The grammar disintegrates, the argument collapses, the spell check goes unconsulted. This is not contempt, this is grief. Nigeria produced in the pre-independence and immediate post-independence era lawyers of world standing, diplomats of global reputation, scholars of genuine distinction. The tradition that produced Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chief Rotimi Williams, Chief Frederick Rotimi Alade Williams, and men of that generation, educated, disciplined, proud, informed, did not die of natural causes. It was hollowed out by a petro state that decided fast money was more useful than slow knowledge. The wolves are already inside. National budgets continue to fall short of UNESCO education recommendation, and even where funds are released, they are frequently delayed or mismanaged, leaving schools to fend for themselves. Meanwhile, Nigeria's ruling class sent its children schools in London. The Nigerian ruling class sent its children to school in London, in Dubai, in Johannesburg, in New York. Institutions with small classes, functioning libraries, and teachers who are paid. Budgets are padded. Public institutions are dismantled. The political elite builds a personal empire and then returns to enact draconian policies on a population it has deliberately kept ignorant. That ignorance is not an accident. An informed citizenry is a threat to those who govern without accountability. A population knows its history that can trace the arc from Lugard's amalgamation to the oil boom, to the structural adjustment programs to the Tinubu administration demolition of the Naira. It's a population that will ask the right question. Wolves do not want asked questions, they want sheeps. The new data being gathered by Nigeria Education Data Initiative is revealing for the first time with precision what many have suspected. In just 11 pilot states, over 12 million pupils were recorded in primary school, but by junior secondary, the number had collapsed to 1.76 million, and only 1.23 million reached senior secondary. Nearly 9 million children vanished from the system between primary 6 and SSS 3. Where do they go? Into the informal economy, into despair, into the recruitment pipeline of the groups that are currently destabilizing Nigeria. What must be done? Overall, overall required is not cosmetic. It's structural, it's financial, and it's indeed philosophical. Nigeria must meet UNESCO's minimum education funding benchmark of 15 to 20% of the national budget and account for every naira publicly. History and civics must be restored not as optional electives but as compulsory.
Is it just me,
That
Mr. Abdullahi?
No, it's not only you.
you stop hearing me.
Okay, yeah, we
Yes,
have you
it's
back
only
now.
We
you.
We
went
lost
out.
you for like we lost you for like 5 seconds, but we have you back now. Please, you stopped at
Okay, for 5 seconds.
compulsory. Yeah, we stopped. You stopped at
Compulsory.
compulsory,
Okay. Okay, I'll take
but
it.
as
I'll take it from
compulsory.
there. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nigeria must meet UNESCO minimum education funding benchmark of 15 to 20% of the national budget and account for every naira publicly. History and civic must be restored not as optional electives but as compulsory examined subject at every level. International affairs must enter the curriculum. Critical reading and writing must be prioritized over note memorization. Teachers' enumeration must be reformed so that the profession attracts rather than repels talents. Above all, Nigerians themselves must make a collective decision that fast money is finished as a national philosophy, that the culture which celebrates the man who acquired a billion naira without producing anything must be replaced by the culture that honors the man who built something, who taught something, who wrote something that would outlast him. Nigeria was not always this, and it need not remain this. But the path back to intellectual dignity requires first an honest reckoning with how far we are falling and why. The wolves are already inside. Knowledge is the only weapon. Kyo Amarache is a president of Worldview International and writes from Stockholm. So that's the article we have for you today, and we will break it down and we'll bring up questions regarding this article. So what we have right now is that the key issues raised by this article that analyzes the catastrophic decline of the Nigerian Intellectual Foundation and attributing it to deliberate carelessness and intellectual confidence. The author argues that poverty of thinking is a more profound crisis than economic indicators suggest. 20 million Nigerian children are out of schools. 6.39% below UNESCO, and the figures goes on like that. So let's do a mind map graphics of this presentation, and then we'll break it down in pidgin so that our people can understand what we are speaking. So we won't be like our leaders who speak Oyibo past English man, speak Oyibo past American man. So Nigeria intellectual collapse, as you have it there. So Ibukun and Abdullahi will take it from there, and you can see as the line in multicolor goes up to explain to us what this article is talking about in our own pidgin English language. Can you guys see it clearly over there? This is a lot.
Plenty well.
This a lot.
Waiting we go unpack for here, plenty well.
There is a lot, yeah. The poverty of thinking, when the brain is gone. That's why we have the Olodo uprising. This writer tells us why most of our youth in their 30s, 40s, and 50s are having delinquent arguments on X and on social media with a country that is going through this level of problem. They're not discussing policies, they're discussing personalities. The discussion is always about Atiku, Obi, or Tinubu. No conversation about policies, no conversations about issues. Election is just 6 months from now, and nobody is talking about how to fix all the problems that are highlighted. Everybody's just talking about personality as if a man can make a nation. It's a collective that makes a nation. So you guys, you take it from there. That's what we got. Let's go.
Mr. Blight, you go first. I'll make I go first.
Okay, let me give it a try.
Okay.
I'll go first. Okay.
Yeah, if you feel talk a little bit louder. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay. The poverty of thinking. Bro, I think you can go. Sorry.
Okay, so sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, the Nigerian intellectual collapse. Waiting, that thing they try to communicate to us, we say how we take lose them, we be say the kind sabiness we will sabi for Nigeria, it reduce well. We don't, there's a particular time where we sabi where our brain they sharp where. But now some things don't happen. But we want to unpack what happened to us. And one of it is the poverty of thinking. All right. Poverty of saying person no get money. A day for the one way person no fit think where too. When you dey poor for your mind, we say they think. All right. Not measured by GDP or World Bank. There's no ways where GDP or World Bank will fit measure that kind of poverty. Because now inside the thinking, now inside the mind, that kind of poverty dey. Loss of history, context, and confidence. How we take lose our history. All right. How we take miss road. How we take miss road for everything. From our history of where we don dey come since 1960s, e get how we take miss our road. And we have educational crisis. Everybody knows how education be for Nigeria. Wey be say before our education na baba in Africa, but now our education dey get as e take be. Out of school children, let's talk about wetin statistics talk about out of school children. We have 20.2 million, highest globally according to UNICEF. Just to tell you, say wetin we dey talk, no be say we make am up by ourselves. We dey talk wetin dem agency wey dey look after things like this dey talk. And we have civilizational emergency. That is, as we take dey develop as a people, as a society, e don drop so tey we need to sit down to address that problem. Then we have underfunded education. how our education, they don't invest enough money into education, because anything where you want reap benefit from, you go invest into them. That is how it works everywhere all over the world. And you have 6.39% that is invested in education in 2024 budget. 6.39%. According to the recommendation where them UNESCO they recommend, say make the funding for education be around 15% to 20%. But our own ogbonge politicians, they think say UNESCO no get sense, and the global standard, they don't know what thing that they do. They don't cut them into more than half, 6.9, as against 15 to 20%, wey suppose go into education. Is a very, very big shame on our political class. Then we have colonial era system. Maybe say we dey memorize over critical thinking. Now we just dey memorize. When we dey school, we dey call am la cram la pour. As we go just go read am for inside textbook, come go pour am down for exam, just like that. We no understand am well, but we go memorize the definition, put am for head. All right. When I did school that time, all of the definition of physics in terms of what is elasticity, what is this, what is that, even in chemistry, we just tabi all of these things in theory. I will go read down for inside textbook, go pour am like that for exam. We no be say we understand wetin we dey talk. That is colonial education. Graduates lack writing, problem solving, digital skill. You never see graduate people say no fit write application letter before. For Nigeria, na Nigeria you go see graduate, he no fit write application letter, and you go dey wonder how that one take become graduate. And you are manufacturing certificate, destroying capacity. Graduate just get certificate full ground, but capacity no dey. They are unemployable. All right, they are unemployed because the education is in a bad shape. Education no pay well. E no set well as it used to be before. And we have economic shift, which is agriculture share fell dramatically. Yes, we move away from our agriculture. Wetin dey bring us money before? In the 60s, we move away from it. Self-sufficiency lost. We no fit depend on ourselves. Become country wey go dey beg people all over the world when they borrow us money. We will go beg China make it borrow us money. Go beg World Bank make it borrow us money. Go beg IMF make they borrow us money. We know they self-sufficient again. All right. Rufai Hussaini dey cry for national TV the other day. They talk am, go bring statistic wey show say Nigerians dey borrow IMF abi World Bank money before. Now we can't go the beg money from that same agency. What a life! What a country! And of course, the rise of fast money. Yes, waiting cut all of these things we will talk. So we be say our prestige, how we take carry ourselves in the global community, how they take the respect us before. We be say now we they help South African. We be say one of our presidents for that time talk say no be how we go take make money be our problem, but how we want to take spend the money, because money too much that time. So the rise of fast money, all right, contract, connections, capture mentality. That is, the money they come fast. It don't affect the mentality of our leaders, so-called leaders. Replace productive labor and earned wealth. Yes, because we make those fast money from oil boom. That fast money wey they get, it can't replace productive labor and earned wealth. That is money wey you earn by yourself. Not be say now because of resources we come out from the ground. Now I make we call the flex muscle. And of course, from then we can't get economic crash. 1980s reclassification of as low income. Yes, after that time we enjoy that fast money, we enter a decline in the 1980s. We squandered our opportunity. All of the money we supposed to use, invest in intellectual capacity of our people. We lost that opportunity. Pata. And of course, we have GDP per capita decline. Yes, They talk about this GDP where as a metric to measure how performing an economy is all over the world. You have brief high in 1961, then decline. Talk about them before. Worse off than at independence. And of course, you have divergence from China, philosophical, not just economic. Yes, we don't lose them where the trajectory, the how we take the improve before we don't come down, pata. And you have history removed. We don't know about where we come from again. Fella, they talk and when we say you have to know your people, you have to know your continent, you have to know your history. Now compulsory something. It is not negotiable. You have to know your history, you have to know your people, you have to know your continent, you have to know where you are coming from. How many Nigerians know say we had this glorious era in our history? How many of them? And they did not even have any history to tutor them and to tell them, say, Nigeria not be like this before. Now some people now in destroy them. And we have curriculum deletion. Yes, history removed from basic education in 2008. Generation disconnect from history. Yes, I don't talk that one before. History, importance of history. Yes, history is very, very much important. I talk as fella talk that time. Say people will not know their history, no go know where they go. You have to know where you are coming from before you go know where they go. Very, very important. Architecture of national identity enables understanding and interrogation. Yes, if you know your history, you go know where they go. All right. Introduction, irony. Tinubu administration tasked with restoration. Well, Tinubu and APC people, they talk to they want to return the history back to our schools. We anticipate whether or not it will be robust. Nobody say they want whitewash history because there's a thing called whitewashing history, so that all of the corporates, all of the criminals will destroy our history. They will come use one kind thing, take remove them from that history. God forbid. And we have degraded discourse, which is incomprehensive responses, intelligent staff of nutrients, and grammar, logic, argument collapse. Yes, all of these things we will suppose get for our society, everything don't collapse. We lost our intellectual tradition as we take sabi book where take sabi how the work where we lose them. All right, hollowed out. And of course we have the ruling class strategy. Okay, hollowed out by petrol state. That fast money we would get from petrol, it don't destroy things for us. When we say we no can't develop ourselves intellectually, the thing we will get upstairs, we will give us the ability to produce, to build factories, to build infrastructure. We lose them because we pursue money. Our leaders they pursue money because me I no follow them, and I know people will no follow them. Me I no follow them. And you have the ruling class strategy. Can you continue from there, Mr. Abdullahi?
Yes, I can continue.
Okay.
Okay, the ruling class strategy. So this one we dey talk about the people wey dey on top, the oga at the top. Them, their strategy, their way of controlling, making things be the way they want am. Then we have the elite, education abroad. That's the oga at the top, the people wey dey wey suppose fix our school, that school wey you go, where you want your children go. Na dem dey in charge of that one, make dem fix am. But they dey carry their children go abroad. Children abroad, children attend school in London, Dubai, and Johannesburg. So they dey carry all their children go Ogbidibo. Then we will dey here, we dey stay for Nigeria. That's why the school, you go classroom, you no go see window. You don't know the difference between window and door. Everything dey parallel. You go just dey enter through here, come out through there. Then the next one is deliberate ignorance. So deliberate ignorance, that means intentionally people dey what? They make people make they know sabi, so that the education system will make you say you no know wetin you dey do. As you no know wetin you dey do, so you what? you do the way they want you to be. Then padded budget dismantle institutions. So they always increase budget, they always touch the temper with the budget, with the money where they put, where suppose okay, if education need 20% as said by UNESCO, they no go give am that one. But places where we no suppose put better money, they go put big money. And then institutions, that's all those offices, all those institutions where suppose they function, they check all these people, how they take do their things, they dismantle and they make them irrelevant, they make am make they work as e suppose dey work. Then personal empire built on public funds. See, people they build their what? Their empires on what? On public fund, on money wey belong to everybody in the country. They use and build their personal money. They use and build their houses, their mansion, their businesses. Then we have ignorance as a tool to suppress dissent. That's the we dey use people wey dey make people know wetin dey do. As your education is just to say yes sir, yes sir, then cram and pour, cram and pour, cram and pour, you no fit dey think anyway. So that one go make you say what? You no fit think at all. That's why we no dey ask question. That issue of collective silence. Then inform citizen as a threat. Then all the people wey get knowledge, dey see am as what? As that one na problem o. If these people wey sabi, na problem dem be. Knowledge of history leads to questioning. So people wey sabi, they know where they are coming from. You know, when you know where they say, if you know where you are coming from, you know where you are and you know where you are trying to go to. So as people wey know wetin dey do, they know their history, they know where they are going, they dey always ask question, why, how do we found yourself here? Maybe you dey carry yourself, maybe you wan move from Kano to Lagos and you still dey go, you dey see yourself going towards Maiduguri, you go dey ask no be Lagos we dey go, why we dey come here? We go dey ask the driver. But if you no know the road to Lagos, even if you find yourself in Chad, you no go know say na Chad you dey go. At the end of the day, you just find yourself in Chad. Then the vanishing of children just disappearing. From what? As he mentioned in the article, what? People from primary to secondary school, 9 million people disappear. They no enter secondary school, finish SS3, and they finish primary school. Where they go? They enter into the informal sector. That's they enter the street. Everybody jump into the street. And they what? As we mentioned in our subsequent programs, say, these are the fuel for what? For the bandit, for the terrorists to carry them, recruit them, join their system. Then system collapse. So the system itself, they fall. Anyhow, then massive drop from primary school to secondary school. Children, they drop out. Now, as they mentioned, say 18.3 to 20 million people. Now them they out of school for Nigeria. Then, sorry, a little bit down. Nearly 9 million disappear. That one we don't mention now. Say 9 million children between primary to secondary school, they disappear. They don't know. 12 million people finish. But at the end of the day, you no go see them in SS class. Where they go, nobody know. Then destination of lost children. Where all those children they go. If those people where finish primary school, you don't see them for secondary school, where them go? First, informal economy. They enter the street, they hustle. They disappear. You don't see them for street. Where they go? They bush. Then recruitment into what? Destabilizing groups. So they recruit them into what? They carry them, enter, they bring them in, they sign them into terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and the rest. Then path to recovery. How can we come back to the right path? Then if you don't lose your way, how will you come back to that way? The first one is what? Structural overhaul. That's you look at how do you build the house. So the house no dey go again, you bring down everything and you start it from the beginning. That's financial, philosophical, and structural changes. So but how we dey take use our money? As before, we no get problem of money, we na problem of how to spend. And then our philosophy of not saving for that day where rain dey fall. They say, what repair your zinc before the rainy season start. So as we not get that mindset, we not get that mentality, so we should adopt am, we should change our how we dey take do our things. Then how we dey take build what, how we dey take make our system, so that individuals will not be the ones stronger than the institutions. So then funding and accountability, we should make sure that we put the right money in the right place. Just as UNESCO say that we should put what 15 to 20% in our budget to education, we should what, we should do it, and we should ask question. Okay, they don't put 200 billion for education. How? Where? They say one school they go build am for my community. You see, say 6 months don't go. They no build am o. Ask question. If they say okay, now 10 million naira they come for that school, you come see they build something for 3 million. Ask question. Always ask question. That's accountability. Then account for every public naira. Anywhere they say they will do project, always ask question. Say that money where they say they go do this thing, where in go, this thing where they do not reach the money where they talk say they go do am. Then the next one is curriculum reform. That means the way our education dey, we should what, we should change am. We should change am. Say okay, all those subjects, all those courses wey suppose dey, wey dey go teach our children what, critical thinking, like writing, critical writing, writing essays, writing poems. Okay, asking problem. Okay, identify a community problem and so write how we are going to solve that problem. That instead of copy and paste research wey people dey do for university, for polytechnic, for colleges of education, let them do real research, so that they what, provide solutions to some problems. And then so that when they come out from that place, at least they know the problem in their society and they can solve it. So then what, compulsory history and civic education. That history, knowing where you are, knowing about your parent, your grandpapa, your grandmama, where they come from, wetin they advocate for, to the this time, you, so that you too, you know wetin they start, wetin your papa do, and you too where you will continue, so that your children will also continue. And know your right, wetin you suppose do and wetin government suppose do for you. Now wetin dey civic, so that you too, you will ask questions, so that you too, you go do your own part, make government do im own part. Then international affairs and critical reading. This international affairs should be what, all those people wey for civic education, you go fit dey talk about what, Nigerian foreign policy. Okay, how Nigerian relationship dey with China, how Nigerian relationship dey with Malaysia, how Nigerian relationship dey with Cameroon. All these things go help what, people. And then you read books. Like back in the days where people go hear say, I would not read things fall apart. There was a country by Chinua Achebe. All those things. I have half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda. All these things we read them when we were in, but now lie people just read stories about love. All these things, escape entertainment. Now I'm full there. So we need to read things that what will make you think. And the next one, what, teachers remunerations. That's the money, the take home money where they enter in teachers pocket, make they increase am, so that at least better people go come the job. No be say I no get any other option, una teaching, na only teaching I get, ma go do am because I no get any other option. Okay, make the system, that education sector what, the money dey better, so that people wey get brain, people wey sabi the thing, they go come do the job, so that we will get better children. So attract talent to what, to the profession, so that better people go enter the profession. Then philosophical shift. Then the way we dey think, we should change. The way we dey do things, we should change. At least we should reject fast money. Person tomorrow you see am, today you dey with the person, dey battle, dey struggle, dey enter street, dey go market, dey carry bags, dey push wheelbarrow. The next thing you see the person saying in build house, in buy car. Ask am how far, where you get this money from, how this thing. Or person they just employ and say na NNPC. Now you know their salary they good now. Now one day person salary they make am dey rich. Ask questions, all those things, reject am. With the person come they say I no trust this your money. Then honor builders, teachers, writers over wealth acquisitions. So honor people where they what, recommend, say well done to people where what, where they do better things, where they know they end put their hands into all these bad things for society. Always show them, say yes, they are doing well. And teachers, those people where they teach your children, those people where teach you, those people where make you who you are, always what, respect them and give them honors for society. Because back in the days, even if they want keep something for society, they'll say go and meet that headmaster. Now in they keep things for us because there's someone they trust. And then writers over wealth acquisition. You should what? You should celebrate people where they help make people think, other than people where they always think about money, 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 money. Those things no make sense. Then honest reckoning. So what we should make work with that honesty wey don sleep. We should what, we should bring am up, we should wake am up, say wake up, wake up, wake up, we need you now. Every na only person wey dey honest, na only person wey dey talk the truth, na only the person wey dey do the right thing, na him we go dey what, acknowledge the fail and it cost, so that what, all the things wey we don do wrong, more what, more talk about am, say to this thing we no do am right o, so how we go take fix am, more do am right. Then the next one is what? Knowledge as a weapon. What? Educate people and make people what? Not just say, okay, ma cram, go and pour. Ah, yes, ma pass the exam. Now the only thing where they ground. No, not be like that. Not be only to pass exam. Your head suppose think that thing where they teach you. Question that thing. How I go take use am? How you go take help me? That problem wey dey my society, all this thing wey I dey learn, how you go take help me solve that problem? Okay, this thing wey dey talk, how they take do am? How? Okay, always think about, may have what, critical educational system, not the passive, so that make the educational system what, dey active, wey engaging people dey do, they ask questions always, they argue on top things wey, okay, this one go work for my society, e no go work for my own society. Okay, all those things dey help us do better thing. So more no just get the education of saying, okay, and na so the teacher talk am, na so me too I go carry am go give am back. Garbage in, garbage out. So thank you. That's the end of the mind map of the article.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abdullah. So from it, what is the question that's of discussion there? What can we bring out to going forward? What can we discuss with our people? Say, okay, this is what we were doing yesterday. What can we start doing today and tomorrow that is different from based on what we've read and the information? Obviously, we now have a dormant society, the Olodo generation. They're always having the wrong discussion online. They never have any intellectual discussion. They're always praising their oppressors. They're always following them like mumus. You even see people with doctorate, PhDs in front of their name, and when they open their mouth, you will be so shocked at what is coming out. It will be as if it's their anus that is talking, because they have no critical thinking. They cannot think outside the box, you know. And then the issue
Yes.
of people sending their children abroad. So what do you think we can discuss out of this before we go on to a few other topics we have that I think this is worthy of
Yes, I
go
think I
ahead.
have this question.
Yeah.
Like from the articles, I think from the article, this first article, I think I have this question for
Yeah.
our listeners. Do you think we miss the link to our roots? That's our history. Do you think we lose our history, the link to our history?
Do we have a
Then the
connection
second
to our
question,
history? Is
yes,
that
or
the question?
yes.
Okay. Good. What else? Go on.
Then the second one is, do you think that we also are poor in terms of thinking? Do you think that yes, our thinking has become what, has rotten? We don't think anymore? Because I'm just asking, as the writer said it, are you agreeing or disagreeing with what the writer has said?
Say.
Because he said we are poor in terms of what, thinking. That's our intellect is lack nutrient.
That's right. Ilbukun, is there a way you can put this question on the X handle and then bring people in if they wanna comment or something, or tell them where they can go for comments? Can you handle that? Can you announce that now? So
They
uh,
can hear, they heard everything loud and clear.
okay.
Or
So where
everything that
if
is
they, like, say for example, if they want to join this conversation, what do they need to do?
all they need to do is to pick up the mic and let's have a conversation or drop a comment at the comment section. But everything that is
Yeah,
being
but not
discussed
on YouTube, not on Facebook. On which
on
platform do they
on
have to pick
X,
up?
on X.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a specific what do you call it? Internet site, or just the
No,
movement radio
right,
next?
right on the platform as we are talking right now. They can hear everything that we are saying live, and they have heard everything. And
Okay.
even the question that was thrown, they heard it. And of course, we just have one person at the listener section for now.
Oh, one person.
Uh,
Okay. Does the
most people
person
is
have a mic?
just coming
I
and
see
going,
Freno.
coming and
Freno
going.
is there. Does the
Friend
person
of,
have a
please pick
mic?
up the
Want to
mic. Yeah.
is as our the question is, as our intellectual capacity diminished over generation, our people dumber than what they used to be?
The facts are very obvious. The facts are obvious.
You want to
We,
discuss that a little bit, Bukun?
yes. I go want to
Okay, go
discuss
ahead.
a little bit because um this is a national concern, really. Maybe say we suppose look into. Okay, Freno is picking up the mic. Okay, it's a national concern. We say we suppose look into
Why
as
don't you let
because
Freno speak first before you give your own explanation? Since he's our guest, he's talking. So.
okay. Freno, are you up already? Can you hear me? Freno, are you there? Okay. Please. What do you have to say to contribute to the subject matter? Okay, we were discussing about the decline of
Our mental
intellectual
capacity,
mental
intellectual
capacity.
capacity.
What do you think is the cause of it? Many of the causes have been outlined in our article that we read and we dissect not quite long. But what do you think is the solution moving forward? Freno, are you there? Freno, we are losing you. Are you there? Well, yes, you are audible. Please go right ahead. Freno?
Yeah, it might be having the connection problem. Why don't you go on with your own explanation so that you can reconnect and you go on with
Yeah,
your
yeah,
own explanation.
yes, you are audible now.
They don't have anything on the table for us. They don't care about how we want to do our things, how we get educated, and they don't care about our innovation. They don't want to do anything sophisticated, anything technology. We have the money, we can go and get it abroad. Not because one of them is what we do, more seriously. So I think the only solution they need now is to seek for the
Yeah, I think we've heard the most part of your submission, Treno. You're having a network issue, but he's essentially recommending that we have an overhaul of the system,
Complete
which
one,
is,
like a total change, revolution, change the
yeah,
educational system, everything, political
absolutely.
system, complete overhaul. Okay, give your own explanation on what you were intending to say, and if someone else
Yes,
comes in, we'll give them the chance. Go
I was
ahead.
about to make some prescriptive, recommendation, and
Okay.
of course, it has to do with collective participation in this. And well, we also have to even realize that we have a problem, because that is one of the things that we is like the major concern for me. When you are dealing with a population where we say they don't even know say something they do them, no, they just know say things no they all right.
So you're
But
saying that the people don't know that they don't know. That's another problem in itself. Like
yes,
the
it's a
person
very
who doesn't know, do not know that they do not know.
exactly,
Yes,
which is a
yes,
very
that's
big
the major problem.
it's a big issue. Maybe say we
And
must
then
address.
they come on with a microphone and speak confidently as if they know.
Yes, they even they follow you argue. You where you they tell them they show them with facts. They go they resist waiting you they tell them based on fact, and they go they assume saying that them no pass you, which is a very big issue.
The system have already designed it that way.
Well, but at some point, I think we will have to get to a point where our people have to eat the humble pie, and even those that call themselves intellectuals, based on because many of the postulations that they have made in the past have turned out to be inaccurate. If you look at all of these, intellectuals that have given, have basically um, done a PR for this rigged system, and things are instead of it to get better, things are getting worse. They do not see that as an indication that their postulation have not worked out, and it is absolute, nonsense, and it does not work for our people. But they have to eat the humble pie first and say, well, I think we should recalibrate. I think we are wrong, and it is from a place of honesty that they will have to do that. But when you have those that their ego is higher than their sense of patriotism. When you are patriotic, it has nothing to do with your ego. Even if you are wrong, you will admit that you are wrong for the sake of progress. But many of these intellectuals, they don't even want to admit that they are wrong, that what they have postulated or what they have recommended, how they have facilitated this whole systemic ignorance. They don't even want to eat the humble pie, and it goes across every. It's not in the academia alone. Even our religious,
Yes, many of them superiority complex.
yeah, I'm getting somewhere. Even our religious leaders that have made because they have always recommended prayer for the past 2 decades. Prayer, 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 prayer. What is wrong with them admitting that we have tried prayer? I think we have to try a different thing this time around. And many of them are intellectuals in their own right. Many of these clergymen, they are first class graduates. I can tell you three that are prominent in the Christian side of things, that they were first class. Even their mates respect their intellectual capacity in that field. But they have recommended what has backfired very spectacularly and has facilitated public and collective ignorance. What is wrong with them coming out and saying, hey guys, we are wrong? What we have recommended for you to do and keep doing since over 2 decades now have not worked out. It is time for us to do something different. But when are they going to come to that realization and concede and bury their pride? That is the problem. So they are now doubling down. They keep doubling down that yes, we still have to keep doing that same thing again and again. And that is where me I have a problem. So I think we have to get past this first before we can have a people that would emancipate themselves. And we
So
have
do
a comment.
do you think the movement radio's approach to this issue of re-educating and all, bringing topical articles like this out for discussion is a good approach to at least get to those who are asleep? We don't know about those who are dead, though. We don't know about the zombies, or if we can get to those ones. But is this a good approach for our people, for us to let them see,
Yes,
put a mirror before them?
it's a fantastic idea, and it's a journey that we need to start, and we have started. Very, very important journey. Is an important assignment that we have to do very religiously, not just we start and that is why no matter how tired I am, I don't mind. So far, it has to do with the education of the Nigerian people. If you wake me up in the middle of the night, I am going to respond to it because I know it is very, very much essential.
Well, in terms of numbers, what percentage of Nigerians do you think are not conscious? What are we looking at? If you and Abdullah, do you have an idea? You just
It's the
get a
majority.
percentage number of majority is a big word, but I mean, do we know how many people are just unconscious of what is going on in their environment or in their head or in their world or how they are responding to it?
I can say 97%.
What about
I'm
you,
close.
Abdullah?
To me, I think so. I would say 98 or 99 because majority of
I
Nigerians,
didn't hear you. You would say 99.
99, yes.
You're breaking up.
Sorry, I said 99% of
What would you say?
Nigerians,
99?
yes.
I think it's from the hand of Movement Radio Chicago. I think we have you
Yeah,
back
it's
now.
frozen. Did he say 90? Did he say 99%?
Yes, I
Okay, go
said
ahead,
99
Abdullah. Wow. So this is a big
because
fight.
if you look at it,
Even
because
so,
if you look at it in a real sense, it's only 1% of Nigerians
yeah.
that know what they are doing and they keep doing it over and over and over again. But the rest of the populace, they only listen and they follow. They listen and they follow.
This is a great show, and there's an echo when the gentleman speaking speaks. Okay, we'll fix the echo. Adewale, do you have any question for us regarding the decline in the intellectual capacity of our people? You can put your question on YouTube, or if you have access, you can join us on X for discussion. I just saw your comment and I decided to read it out. Adewale M said there's a great show and that they're just complaining a little bit about the echo. We'll fix that echo problem. So thank you, Adewale, for joining us. And any other person who has a comment or question on why there is an Olodo uprising, our people are just basically dumb. Do you know what? That's what Martin Luther King said, that in this world there is nothing more dangerous than conscientious stupidity and sincere ignorance. So it's obvious that our people are sincerely ignorant. They didn't get there by accident. It was by the colonialists engineered us to be like this. by us adopting their curriculum, as that article has said, we just didn't get to this state of dumbness for nothing. Even our so-called journalists, lawyers, doctors, and all these weirdos that call themselves educated, their level of consciousness is baffling. It's indeed very baffling. Now on this issue, same on this issue of enlightenment. There's this thing by Alex Onya on there about public official who goes abroad to take pictures and celebrate their children graduating abroad while they manage a decay at home. One of you guys want to read that the thing, and I think Farida Bemba Noborema had a response to this thing. Somebody read it out there. Go ahead.
Okay, let me go ahead. Okay. Public officials who celebrate sending their children abroad by Alex Onya. I struggle to understand public officials who proudly celebrate sending their children abroad while the schools they oversee are collapsing. It is not about whether they can afford it. They have every right to spend their money however they choose. It is about emotional intelligence and leadership. Publicly celebrating your escape from a system you are so responsible for fixing send the wrong message to millions of families who have no such option. The goal of public service should not be to build an exit plan for your own children. It should be a country where every parent child has access to education so good that living become a choice, not a necessity. That is the standard we should demand by Alex Onyel.
I did have a response. We're going to post Farida's response to that about our politicians and leaders. And
Yeah,
thank you,
emotional
Adewale.
intelligence.
Yes, yeah, the one on emotional intelligence. Thank you, Adewale, for telling us. Nobera Farida Noberema it's a great young freedom fighter. Yes, she is, and very, very, very intelligent lady. Extremely intelligent. Last week, Wale, you might have missed it. We did a presentation on our paper on how we got to where we are and how she touched on the 5 key points. Ibukun, do you remember those 5 key points she mentioned in that
Yes,
article? Do you
yes,
remember?
yes, I do. The
Yeah,
very
can
first
you
one,
reinstate it for our
yeah,
audience?
the very first one is colonial education. That is
That's
number one.
one, yes.
Number two is economy of obedience.
That's true. We are dependent on the work. What's the other
Yes, and
one?
Yes.
mention family control.
Family control, that's three. And
Then she
then, well,
mentioned
there are two more.
religion. She mentioned
Religion,
religion.
how religion turns us into dummies, into
Yes,
muguns. And then the last one, our media. That's why
our
on this
media.
movement
Yes,
radio, we don't do anything main media does. We don't regurgitate news. We don't repeat their news because all they give you is the opinion of the oppressors, the opinion of the ruiners. We don't want to do that. We want to educate the minds of our people. We want to give you topical opinions that touch the reality of our situation, like the article we've read today, like this statement by Alex Onya, and the response that Farida Noberema gave back on this. These are the type of things we think people should hear. This is what will wake up their conscience, not garbage regurgitation of Wike said, Atiku said, Akpabio said. All those people are the ones responsible for your problem. So whatever it is they have to say have no relevance to the solution of your problem. And so we stay away from them. And again, from Adewale, thank you, Adewale, for your participation. We are really enjoying you here. I believe the Olodo uprising is also as a result of a culture of not being able to speak up against older folks. Yeah, that's what she mentioned by parental influence. They disagree with. That's good. It would have been nice, Adewale, if you can join us up here. You seem to have very valid opinion there. If you can join us, and we just don't want the public in the studio. We would have given you the studio link, but can you join us on X to put some discussion into this? Or is there a way we can get him to join? He's leaving us good things. So let me go to that Farida's response, and that's very good. I think you need, apart from reading it out, we will need to break down also in the usual pidgin format so that our people would understand what we are talking about our leaders who are supposed to fix our schools, fix our education, how they only fend for themselves and then they only send their children abroad, you know. And this is what she responded to. I'm looking for the article now. Give me a minute. What was our response? I got to look it up. Let me check by her name.
And I think the title she says that emotional intelligence, not
Oh,
enough.
emotional intelligence. Okay, let me look for it. Emotional, that's what I need to look for. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking, what am I searching for? Emotional. I'm sorry, guys. There. So, one of you can continue speaking. Go ahead, Abdullahi, on your analysis while I look for the article, so we don't just have a quiet.
I think yes, because what Alex only have said is quite valid, but sometimes when you are not faced with the reality, because when you are talking about that, okay, these people don't have conscience. There's people
Yeah.
that have conscience that will be feeling that, okay, if, for example, I am the one responsible to take care of this and it's
Yes.
failing. So when it's failing, then I should feel that guilty of underperforming. But no, they find a way, okay, how can I escape what I become irresponsible to hold it? So they find escape. That's why he mentioned. So you have to be consistent that these people are not just thinking that, okay, this they deliberately do it because they think that, okay, having these people and like working side by side with us, with our children, is like, that's why, just like in the previous article that I mentioned, that what intellectuality, you becoming educated is becoming like a threat. So they have to make you ignorant so that you'll not be able to what, to think straight. I,
Sending
I
their
think you
children
can go
abroad.
ahead and read it.
You say what?
I said maybe you can start with the Farida article since you are
Yeah,
able
let me
to
start
find
with the
it.
Farida article. Okay, yeah. It said corrupt leaders are incapable of emotional intelligence by Farida Bemba Noberema. You see, corrupt leaders are incapable of emotional intelligence, for it requires recognizing yourself in another person, and you cannot steal the money meant to provide clean water to all because you're so desperately want to be the only one drinking champagne. If you still see yourself in the thirsty child, but it goes beyond lack of emotional intelligence. What we are dealing with is feudalism. They deeply, which I call big manism, they deeply believe in the natural superiority of their lineage over the common citizen. And that's a fact with most of these Nigerians who are, they believe they are better than their neighbors. They truly believe it. The big man in I truly believe it, and it's not a joke. They truly believe they are from royalty. The commoners are commoners. You know, like in Rome, they are what's the word they use? Plebeians and the other ones. Whoever ever watch Rome, they're the plebeians, and then they're
Of the caste system.
yeah, the caste system. They deeply believe in the natural superiority of their lineage over the common citizen. It is genuinely demeaning for them to use the same schools, the same hospital, the same facilities as the people they govern. Sharing a service with the governed would collapse the hierarchical distance on which their entire sense of self depends. And flaunting stolen wealth is never accidental, it is very intentional. It is how they remind the people of their superiority. You know, they want to oppress. They remind the people that they are superior than them. That's why I said this whole problem we have in Africa is an offshoot of the white supremacy concept. And they've passed it on to our people, and our people have imbibed it. They don't see themselves as black and their fellow black man as black. They see themselves as better, the house Negro mentality. You know, that they remind the people of their superiority. The convoy, the mansion, the ostentatious celebration and lifestyle paid for with public fund is a message to the people. I took this from you. You watch me take it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Gone are the days I used to ask myself, how do they sleep at night? Well, they sleep very well and even snore. They have successfully muted whatever conscience they may have possessed and convinced themselves that they deserve that life and that the people deserve the suffering. There is no internal contradiction to keep them awake. And oh, there is one facility they do not mind sharing with the people. That is the church or the mosque. This is so true. They need to sit among you in the house of God, draped in stolen wealth, surrounded by convoy and their bodyguards, so that you may witness with your own eyes that even the divine has chosen them over you, that even God has chosen them over you. The sermon that preaches humility is delivered to you. The blessings lands on them, and they live before you through a separate exit back into a world where you are not meant to follow them into. This is very deep. This is very, very deep. Let's do a mind map presentation of this, you know. And this is true. This is the psychological analysis of those that govern us. That's why I keep telling people, stop calling them leaders. Call them by their real name, ruiners. You know, it was easy for South Africa to fight apartheid because it was white oppressing black. You can say those are the white people. You can see them, it's visible. This one is not visible. The big man is invisible to you. Still thinking of him as your brother. You're still thinking of him as your uncle. You're still thinking of him as a sister. But they're not. They look down on you the same way white people look down on black people. Piece of shit. You're not equal to them. That's their mentality. And a lot of our people need to understand this. This is the mentality of those that govern you. If not, why would they steal everything meant for you? Provide you water, school, hospitals, and school. Why would they do that? Because they don't regard you. They don't. As part of them. They are better than you. They even name generators after that. I better pass my neighbor.
My
Can you
neighbor.
imagine that?
No, sure.
Yeah. You know, I better pass my neighbor. I'm losing my article here. Let me go on. You guys can keep talking while I try to set the mind map of.
Yes,
Let me
this
do
is
that.
the actual mentality because if you look at it, they are trying to tell you that you are you are not human. They are more human than you because
Than
human
you.
think, but you
Go
don't
ahead,
think, you don't
Abdullah.
question because if as a human you are what you are rational. That's why you are called human. You are rational. The moment you become irrational, you become what lesser animals, just like the sheep, the goats, and the rest. So your rationality is what makes you human. So, but them they don't look at the people as humans. They just say, these ones they are just like chickens. Once the time we need them comes, we'll just throw the way you call your chickens, you throw the grains at them, they will all come out and then they will line up. So the same thing they treat people. They say, oh, at the end of the day, no matter what I steal, they cannot question me. It's only when another person comes into power that they will all play the drama show in the court, and at the end of the day, it all goes and evaporates.
In a very fast way, I don't know. Should we or should we not? I don't know, guys. Should we?
Yes, I
You think
think
Yeah,
it's
Ibokun can do
make it go and
something.
papa now.
Do and papa, yeah.
Corrupt
Can you
leaders
see?
incapacity. Yes, I did see am very well. Life and direct. Corrupt leaders incapacity for emotional intelligence.
That's right.
We dey always wonder why our politicians no fit connect to wetin we dey go through. Now, reason why now we wan share. So the core argument is incapable of emotional intelligence. They don't get the ability to even, to have human feeling, to feel the same way with you. They have a disconnection with you and requires recognizing self in others. And of course, for you to do that, for them to be able to connect with you emotionally, it will take them recognizing that people wey are the lead self, they be human being now. Others too be human beings. As I be human being, others too, they are human beings and they should not be deprived of any privilege. But they no sabi think that way. They no get that ability to look within themselves, really. Make we stroll up. And reason for incapacity is lack of empathy. They no get empathy, they no get pity. Pity no dey their eyes. They don't train their conscience, make it no get pity again. They cannot steal water from champagne. Yeah, fail to see self in tasty child. Yes, they don't have the capacity to put themselves in your shoe, and the thing where they happen with that. And of course, the feudalistic believe in natural lineage supremacy. They believe, say, they don't get upper hand over you just because of how life take smile on them, because they have advantage to become one kind leadership position. They believe, say, na their luck with that. Other people luck na them sabi. Other people na they are destined for poverty and suffering. All right, we have the meaning to use common past years and the sharing collapse hierarchical distance. Yes, when you share things with others, when you look at others the same way you look at yourself as fellow human being, you'll be able to share things with them. All right, you'll be able to have an interaction and communicate with them. But in their case, they want to keep a distance. Make yourself or know, say, you and them are not the same level. They go dey tell you, say, shoe get size, okrika get quality, and of course, the level wey dey between you and them, it be like a earth and the moon. They want to make that very, very clear to you. And of course, intentional flaunting of wealth. Yes, you go dey see them, they flaunt gold, they flaunt the best cars wey they use, and you go dey catch your eyes. You go dey look and say, "Ay, omo, na human being like me dey drive this kind motor. Na human being dey sleep for this kind house." Reminds people of superiority. All of those things wey you dey see them dey do, so they do am to remind you, say, they pass you for a lot. By far, they take pass you, and you have convoys, mansions, celebrations. I have mentioned it before. Message: I look this from you. That is, I took this from you. That is, they tell you, say, there's still all of those resources from you, and nothing wey you fit do about it. Nothing wey you fit do about them. All right, and of course, muted conscience. They don't put stop to their conscience. All right, that sense of pity for fellow human being, they don't stop am for their mind. They sleep very well at night, and they even snore and mess. And Fela talk am, poor man they cry, rich man they mess. You see, as you they cry, them they mess. Just to tell you, say, they don't get pity for you at all. They don't care what they do you. All right. Selective sharing. Share church and mosque with people. You go see them for your church now. You go see them, they go get special seat for them. And sometimes you may even get luck, say, you sit down by their side. They drape in stolen wealth. You go see them, say, the kind of perfume where they use, you go they smell. You now wait there for back, say, go they smell that perfume. Say, now correct perfume be this. All right. Demonstrate divine favor over people. Yes, they're going to tell you, say, the reason why they come church, come share it with you, and stay in close proximity with you. Now to tell you, say, me, God don't help me for this life. On our way, God never help. Now on our sabi. All right. So sermon on humility to the people, and if they give them mic, They go they preach say they give the day humble. All right, they go they preach say God don't bless them. All right, and of course when it is time to leave after their whole preaching and their paparazzi, they no go leave the same way they leave, but because convoy they wait for them for outside. They get big motor for outside where they wait for them just to distance you and them. All right, Jesus Christ, when Jesus Christ dey for this life, when he come based on Bible story, he dey sit down among the people, he dey travel with them, he dey move with them, he no even get personal motor. But our own religious leaders, if una wan go house, at that time you go know say your pastor get limousine, he get Rolls Royce, and the house where he dey live, he pass your own, and he go dey prove am to you as he dey preach say he get money pass you. You will be say you are just you are just ordinary man. So we have to look into this as a problem that we have to solve in our society. That the emotional intelligence, our collective emotional intelligence have declined so much, and those that call themselves leaders, of course, we have indeed categorized them as ruiners in our society. They do these things with reckless abandon. They don't even care what you think or what you feel. They will do it regardless. So back to you, host.
Okay, yeah. So what's the question for us here? If people want to discuss, what's the question here? Do we have a question on this? People sending their children abroad, is there a way we can stop it and then connect it to that first article, and then we go on from there? You and Abdullah come up with the discussional points for people who wants to put their voice and give them microphone. Those that are on X, ask them if they want a microphone to request.
Yes, I have passed the mic. We have a new listener, Samuel Dada. I passed the mic to him.
Hear you.
I said we have a new speaker on X. And his name is Samuel Dada. I have passed him the mic if he possibly want to interact with us. And the question is very, very simple. What is the cost of lack of emotional intelligence among our so-called leaders? And it cuts across not just political leaders, even religious leaders say follow, join. And how can we mitigate against, how can we stop this kind of thing when they happen? So we don't explain all of these things for us without going back to it again. How we want to put an end to how our politicians or our pastors, our religious leaders, it goes even, it's not just politicians now, religious leaders. They send their children go Nigerian school. Now outside abroad school they carry their children go because they know say things they okay for a year. And of course their recommendation has failed spectacularly. So when it comes to prove reality, they don't joke with it. Now you they go they pray for say may God help you, may God give you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. They don't leave all of those things to chance in their own children's case. They will carry them go the best education in schools where they get wisdom, knowledge, and education from their curriculum, not just from wishful thinking. These clergymen knows exactly what they are doing. So the question to you is that how do we stop this kind of situation? And of course, you can drop your comments, you can pick up the mic. I have sent the mic to quite a number of people on the space. We have one more new listener, Omologo, and we anticipate your feedback. Okay, we can see some comments from Facebook. It says they immediately lose their conscience. Yes, our politicians and our so-called elites, they call themselves elites, but with what evidence can we really call these ones elites? Elites or feudalists, those that are distancing themselves from the reality of the people. They are distancing themselves from the reality of the people. You can't call those ones elite because they have no sense of collectivism, of doing things collectively or building the nation. Nation building is not for people who are so engrossed with classism. They want to class themselves. In fact, if you have the opportunity to listen to them in their private conversation among themselves, they'll be telling themselves, I have 20 houses in the UK. Your own property this small for UK. I have 50 in Florida. I have a private jet. I have a limousine, 2023 limousine. I have a 2025 limousine. I have Tesla, Cybertruck. They use all of these things to brag among themselves, while the vast majority of their people lives in abject poverty. And you have them even as traditional rulers. When you have a first-class king, so to speak, driving a limousine on a terrible road that leads to his palace. The road leading to his palace is terrible. But he would rather find a way of bringing limousine into the palace. But he cannot use that same power we can get to facilitate good road and good schools in his community, in his town, in his village, in his society. These are the set of elites that we have in Nigeria. So it's quite disgraceful, and we anticipate your feedback, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what we have been discussing since morning. All right. Crime has been normalized within Nigerians' political class with little outrage and no real consequence. So we anticipate your feedback on this, ladies and gentlemen, as we move on in the discussion. Your mic is muted. Kindly unmute it.
Abdullahi, you have anything to say on that? Farida's response to that analysis of the situation. I just find it intriguing that they want to do everything separate with you, but they will sit in church with you to show you that God has blessed them, while you should be humble and listen to the pastor's sermon of being humble. I find that aspect very, very intriguing, very nice. Yeah, what do you say, Abdullahi?
Yes, actually, when you look at it, that's the only point that you will see yourself together. They have like multiple routes through which they differentiate themselves from you, but they identify that particular page that they neutralize it, in a sense that even if they interact with you at this stage, it's not going to affect their personality. That's why they identify that place and then they use it. That's why the spiritual institution, that's the religious institutions. Because in one way or the other, if they will allow you to go to the same hospital, maybe the same sickness that they are suffering, you are suffering, they might have it. If you go to the same school, your children, and their children, or their children.
Mr. I don't think that is true, because even if they use the same hospital like us now, that don't mean say that okay. How come we are not catching the same illnesses in our own public hospital? When you go to hospital now,
but
there is a section.
But them they feel it that way. That's why they identify the religious institution, because they make sure that their children, they don't even go to the public hospital. They allow you in the public hospital and they didn't put the necessary facilities. If you look at it, for example, now, even if you go the so-called national hospital here in Abuja, if you go, you know that yes, that hospital is not meant for you, but it's called what? National hospital. But it's not meant for you, because everything there you pay with your money and at a very exorbitant rate. So they make sure in every cadre of life they differentiate themselves from you. And it's only when you go to church or you go to mosque that you see they try to look like you, but they are not really like you. In their personality, they feel that they are not like you. So if let's assume, for example, if you look at going to hospital in a real sense, maybe some people become friends, mostly women. When they are going to hospital, they become what? Friends. They associate. From there, this one will visit this one, this one will, then you what you social you create that what social connection. But they don't want to create that social connection between you and them. So they avoid all those places. If they go to the market, but when they are going to the market, they go with what? Their car. You trek to the market, you carry your bako bag for your hand. Highest you go buy maybe half of the bako bag, but them they go, they open boot, they say, Oga, you price potato 200, him he price a bag of potato, and he put it, he make sure he comes once in a month or once in a week. You go every day or every market day. So those things, they make sure that they don't look like you. And I think the religious institution give them that neutral ground that even if you come, it's not going to affect your personality. That's why they are just, because just like Karl Marx says, that religion is kind of an opium. So that opium is like kind of a pain reliever. So that pain reliever is just there where people come with all their sorrows. So there they don't think, they only listen to what we are telling them. So they can, it's not a where you what you have, it's not where it will give you a voice of reason, but a voice of what? Consolence, so that you will be consoled and you will feel relief from your pain, so that you go back empty. Because most of the times when you come with all your thinkings, your problems, they will have a way of what? Consoling you, and then you go out with no brain in your body. That's why sometimes all listening to these sermons, to some extent, sometimes you have to use your critical mind, so that as they are talking, you what? You question it.
Good. So we should be moving on to the next article. It's 4 pages. I don't know if we should read that in all or just give a general brief summary of it and then do the mind map of it. What do you guys think? Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Um, yeah, let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here's the article. It's 4 pages. Look, you know, by Umar, and by the title is "Being Nice is No Excuse Defending the Indefensible." You know how you go on Twitter Spaces or YouTube or all this social media, Nigerians are debating, and you have somebody who you know or don't know just defending a position that is immoral. They're just defending it. And at the end of the day, he argues that, people tell him these people are nice people. So he is questioning that fact. Are they really nice? So there's a summarized version here, and there's the 4 pages. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we read it in full or do the summarized output? And then we'll do the
Yeah,
mind map.
let's do the mind map. Yeah.
Okay, let me give you the brief summary of it then, and then we'll do the mind map because it's long. We
Okay.
don't want to bore people.
Okay.
And if anybody
Okay.
asks for a microphone, please give them a microphone to comment. If
Yeah,
there's any
I'm gonna look
comment,
at.
please highlight their comment. Let them be able to talk. Keep repeating the questions or discussion so they would know. And okay, let me talk about this guy's article. Okay, so he's talking about the distinction between niceness and goodness in Nigeria governance. They say it's governance, but it's more in Nigerian political, socio-political discussion when people who people perceive them to be good people, but they are defending a position that is immoral. I don't know whether they know their position is immoral or not. So this document by the author Umati Umar. I hope I didn't kill that name. Being nice is not an excuse for defending the indefensible. Umati Umar. It explored the critical difference between being nice and being a good person, particularly in the context of the Nigerian governance and societal accountability. It argues that prevalently there's a tendency to excuse or deflect from a systemic failure by focusing on individuals' niceness or comparing Nigerian problem to those in other nations, is detrimental progress. And I see that a lot when I listen to people talk. I see them make, it's either they are deflecting the failures of when they are defend. I'm talking about people who defend this administration or try to play between both sides. They are defending, they tend to deflect by deflecting, or they focus on other nation. That has been their modus operandi all the time. They want to talk about Israel, they want to talk about US, they want to talk about Russia. But the real problem in your country, when they talk about it, they deflect. And these are purportedly, in quotes, nice people. So the question is a nice person a good person? So let's see the key argument of the article before we go into the mind map. He said, deflection and irrelevance of external comparison. You see them do a lot of external comparison to the key issue. Like now we're talking about Nigeria, we're talking about the Olodo uprising in Nigeria, we're talking about the intellectual bankruptcy in Nigeria. You see them come with an, but people are also dumb in US too. You understand? They do that external comparison to deflect as if our problem, people, they just kidnapped 42 children. People die in US too. They kill people too in Chicago. You know, you hear those arguments and you're wondering, okay, this is you call this man a nice person or he's an evil person. Is, you see that all the time when you go into these discussion pages, people were acknowledging. Let me read it. The author refutes the argument that Nigerian problems are less severe than those in other countries. You understand? This comparison is deemed irrelevant. I wish we could read the whole article. We just didn't have enough time. But let's do this summary and you guys will break it down later. This comparison is deemed irrelevant as a standard for governance should be the basic duty of care owed to the citizen. So when we are criticizing government, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. They deflect the government responsibility. They don't even let us address that the basic duty of care, the government own it to the citizen, that the government is not doing us a favor by providing water, by providing road, by providing hospitals, by providing schools. It's not a favor. You own it to us, not the lowest common denominator of global suffering. But when our intellectuals come on to argue in their defense, they want to, but there are poor people in India too. But there are poor people. I don't know if you all see these things when you're engaging them in comparison, and then their comparison are very rhetorical devices used to avoid accountability, because they don't want you to hold the government accountable. They themselves don't want to hold the government accountable. So they use this rhetorical device to avoid accountability. The next point the author makes is that presidential responsibility versus operational responsibility. While acknowledging that the day-to-day hospital supply chains are managed as the state level, the author emphasized that the president's indirect but significant role. The president influences national budget, appoints ministers, sets economic policies that directly impact the state. You notice when, particularly Agbadorians, when they argue, they will say, well, go and hold your state governors accountable. Go and hold your local government. It's not all on the president. They do this a lot, and this article dealt a lot into that. I wish we could have read it in full, though. Whereby they're not, but they don't talk about the impact, direct impact of fiscal capacity and accessibility of essential resources like medical supplies, fuel, or economic decisions have direct consequences on healthcare delivery. So these people become shield against holding those in government accountable. So how does the author define niceness? Niceness describes a skill, a social skill characterized by pleasant interaction, generosity with one's immediate circle, and an ability to read social cues. It can be mistaken for goodness. Goodness, on the other hand, is defined as a moral position. This thing is bad. It is bad. Children being kidnapped is bad. Children not in school is bad. Children being killed, parents being killed is bad. That's a moral position. That's a good person. Now, if you find yourself on the other side defending these bad things, you're like, I like the way Mr. Elvis of Niger Watch calls it. You are satanic. You are satanic to the core. In fact, Satan has just had a twin brother. Because if you are on the side of people that do this, and a lot of people do that, a lot of so-called nice people, you're arguing on behalf of, it's like somebody arguing on behalf of Adolf Hitler, killing 10 million Jews or something like that. You are evil. Your position says it all. You understand? So, moral position withheld by one is willing to tolerate, defend, or excuse happenings to people outside of one's immediate orbit. So, it's saying that it is revealed, whether you're a good person is revealed by what one is willing to tolerate, what you defend, or what you excuse happening to people outside of your circle. It requires confronting systemic failure rather than making excuses for it. And this is what you see a lot of Nigerian youth. I'm talking people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and even 50s do on X, on YouTube. All in the name of making excuses. You're defending evil. People are dying every day in that country, and you're acting as if they are not human. They are as human as you are. But because you have escaped the hell, or you are close to the corridors of power, doesn't mean you should. So if you can excuse it, if you can tolerate it, if you can defend it, I will reveal the compass of your character, man. Now, the cost of excusing the indefendable. The author criticized individuals who, despite being pleasant, consistently find excuses for current administration's policy failures. These failures include the fuel subsidy removal without adequate palliatives, the naira devaluation, rising food costs, and the inability of hospitals to stock essential supplies like blood. These are presented as policy outcome, not act of God. Accountability as civic, not an attack. Now, holding your president accountable is framed as a fundamental aspect of civic and the definition of the job, not as a personal attack or vendetta. The president's oath to protect and serve implies responsibility for the nation's direction. So these people who come, oh, you hate the country, you're demarketing Nigeria. I don't think they're good people. They might have been my friend, a lifetime friend. But at the end of the day, I come to that conclusion that I'm dealing with an evil person. I'm just seeing the true character of this person. It's just coming out now because of what they are defending or what they are excusing. Children are dying. Children. Let's say you don't care for adults, which you should. They are beheading people. And you're still defending that's why personally I believe any Nigerian that's still a member of that satanic party, APC, is satanic. Because by now you should have resigned from that party. You should have left it with all the outcome that you've seen for the past 15 years that party has inflicted on that country. And you're in member and tell me you're playing politics with your, this not just this summer context with which the author is arguing. Now, the moral weight of choices, that when we make choices, it carries the moral weight. You see, good or evil is evil. Good is not neutral. Evil is not neutral. There's no neutrality when it comes to value. That was a line from Obama's speech. There is no neutrality when it comes to value. You cannot be neutral. They said there's a good, no. You have to take a side. You're on the side of good or you're on the side of evil. So the moral weight of your choices is that when you continue to support for policies which demonstrably negative consequences, policies that have negative consequences, when evidence is widespread and visible, is presented as a choice with moral weight, moving beyond mere loyalty, and you still want to hold on to your loyalty to your party, to me, you're an evil person. If we have time, I think we should read this article in full. It's kind of detailed. And then when you talk community beyond the visible, I think you guys should rather read it in detail than do the mind map of it. That way we'll get the real context of what the author is talking about. You see, now we talk about community beyond the visible. True community extend beyond immediate social circles to include those most affected by governance failure, such as farmers, graduates seeking opportunities abroad, families on the brink of ruin, and women who die in childbirth. The danger of numbness. The author questioned how individuals can sleep soundly. Farida already addresses that. They sleep soundly because they don't see you as part of them. Me versus them, us versus them, APC versus PDP mentality, like a football team. We're not the same. We're not all Nigerians. The people dying in Borno State are not Nigerian. They are Northerners. You understand? You dissociate yourself from them. They're not human because they are Northerners or because they are Easterners or because they are Westerners. Their geographical location has dissociated themselves from your humanity. And this is what you come to defend in public. This is sad. And the author questioned how individuals can sleep soundly when faced with preventable death and widespread suffering. A lack of disturbance is characterized not as peace, but as numbness. That's why the society is numb. Because we don't see ourselves as the same. We don't see each other as human. We quickly get into that camp, us versus them, me versus them. But the rain falls on all of us, and we all bleed when caught. But when someone's child is being beheaded or taken into the forest, you don't see, you're not part of them because they are not from your geographical region. You see how dead the society has been? And Nigeria needs goodness. It does. This piece comes by stating that Nigeria needs people who understand the difference between niceness as a skill and goodness as a standard. It is the standard that we need, implying a call for moral courage and commitment to genuine accountability. So, Abdullah, what do you think? We should read the entire article and not do the pidgin version because this is very detailed and rich, and this is what is happening in our society, and that's why we're not making progress as a people because we dissociate ourselves from each other. You belong to APC, you belong to APC, you belong to B, and Joe, you're not me, I'm not you. You're Igbo, you're Mausa, you're this, you're that. I'm Christian, you're Muslim. So therefore, you're entitled to that punishment, to that pain, to that suffering, as long as it's not affecting me. My teeth is better than yours. What do you guys think? You let me know. But I would think that the whole entire article should be read, though, instead of doing the mind map of it. Because this talks about what is going on in our society today, and it details it, the difference between being nice and being a good person. If we have good people, all we need is a few good people. That country will change. Just a few good people. For it to be this decayed and bad, that means a lot of people are bad. They're just pretending to be good. What do you guys say?
I think we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
read it.
We can read it, no problem. Yeah, Mr. Abdullah is fire on.
You got more
Okay.
people on the. We got more people on the X handle. You need because you're not doing your job. You need to constantly be asking them if they want to talk, and if they need a microphone, because we shouldn't be the only
But
ones
I
talking.
needed you to land before. But
Okay,
they
okay,
are listening to everything that is being said anyway. It's live and direct. They are listening
okay.
to everything. And we have Freno raising his hands right now. So let's
Yeah,
pass the
let
mic.
people. Yeah, it's important
Give
people
him the
talk.
mic.
Yeah, give them the mic, reorientate them on what the topic of discussions are, what questions are. Let people voice their opinion, and then we'll get back to the article. Is this our third article? But we'll come back to this. But let our people talk. That's the point. We're tired of hearing the politicians talk or the arenas talk. We want to hear the people talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Freno, are you there? Yes, yes, you're audible.
Okay, yeah, let me go for it. Yeah, maybe I'll have to pictures like this. Yeah, I'll go more further than I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the question I was raised, what cause of disconnect, between this class, of politicians and the everyday Nigerian, And what was the solution to this thing? I am not sure what exactly is the cause of that disconnect, and but I can for sure say that that is one of the symptoms of capitalism. That's when you prioritize profit making over the welfareism and of the everyday people. When you prioritize profit over the people and even the investment in the people themselves, So that's exactly what happens, And it's going to keep happening like that when when even the pastors, we rather have much money going into their private schools, they want to do private schools, they want to do private jets, they want to do, and money is coming to the church again, come to their pocket again, come to the church again, come to their pocket again, they carry to the politicians, their friends, they understand each other's language, they have always been friends, anytime the politicians need votes, they come to the church, anytime the pastors need assistance somewhere in his university that just created, that he wants a pass for something, or maybe even tax. I forgot what they call this thing now. So they work together, and they work together to destroy our lives. So and the pastors know this. The pastors know that we are different from these politicians in terms of class, and they want to make sure that that difference is still there, that disconnect is still there, because that is very easy. That's how they can tell you that once you pay 100,000, God will double it. That last cash in your account, once you pay it, God will double it. God will triple it. It will affect you. You will see it is translate to the economy. I'm sorry. I translate to your bank account, or to whatever thing you're doing, or everything you do has a will prosper. And even in the mosques, the politicians visit the mosques too. They go there, they fasting period for the optics, take pictures, and say, oh, we are evident to you. That's in election, by the way. The election, they like to show, they have to get out with the people. I remember Babajide, I'm sorry, not Babajide, whoever this one look like this. During the last election, they visited he went to the people play ball in the streets, he flew there, play ball. He went to the saloon. Was helping the lady to make her hair. Waiting someone don't know about making hair. Just held the hair, whatever they used to stretch the hair, took pictures. Went to another barber salon, was mopping the floor. This is the desperation. And since when he entered office, I was not thinking, okay, let's see let this man put, I should be simple. Not even save his image as okay, at least one time in in my office after all this period of election. Let me visit one of these places I visited to gather votes, and amaze votes. But this one is nowhere to be found. Where we see him after election is party. We went to so party for our own politician child, went to so party of another pastor's child, went to so party of celebrity, whatever. It was in attendance of Tiwa Savage, whatever thing she was doing, music, whatever she was doing. That is where we see them when after the election, we don't see them again together with us. And they cannot even relate with us. We are just like robots, we are machines, just when it just generate money for me, generate votes for me, generate profit for me, that is what happens in a capitalistic system. So what is the solution? Is when we have the constitutions that recognizes the collective welfareism of the people. When everything is structured in such a way that it benefits the collective, there is no special one person cannot go and open a refinery, I mean, we realize this price of oil. I don't know how the price of oil in the Strait of Hormuz affects the oil producing countries. For someone that has a refinery, they increase their fuel, they increase its own too. Because my money, my fuel, nobody buys it for me. But that's mostly a lie. Because Nigerian government have invested in that in refinery. But we all know that the area government almost care less, about the refinery as a government. They only care because some of the politicians, they have shares there. So, the more the more the price of fuel, the more enters the bank account. The more profit they get. They are taking advantage of the people. So in such manner, they cannot see the people at the same level as them. You are my machine, you are my robot, you have just generate profit for me. When I increase fuel price, the only job is to go and buy. The only job is to go and buy my product and that road. And when they see you looking at people, I know they're saying they come. Don't be afraid, Forget my fuel price can be high. I can go on to charity. I have NGOs. I sponsor some NGO. I don't donate any money to NGO. We are friends. I'm also getting this your friend. Otendela is your friend. We sponsor NGOs. We do this, we do that. People are sick somewhere. Let me just sponsor one or two people there, and they will shout my name. Even the celebrities. GMO. let us pay the celebrities. Let them sell the GMO for us. They say, what the call his name? Okada. I was saying Okada. The police center Okada. He wants give it to us. That means it's in we are connected, we are together. From beginning to the letter Okada, from ordinary Nigeria, even politicians go follow us enter Okada. We love this. It's our guy. It's our guy. But thank God, people, at least we on this side of things, we expose the people to the rubbish, and I don't even know what identity to qualify this school. And these oppressors, these parasitic, they don't want to take from us and leave us dying. The only time they really know is, when people die, how are we going to generate money again? They are our workers, they are our laborers, they are our slaves. Let them know that, let us give them crumbs to keep them to make them survive, to generate more wealth for us, to generate more good for us. That is what exactly these people have done our lives to. So we need something that is going to benefit the collective of people. A constitution that recognize the fact that our education should be prioritized. Our public education must be as good and better, emphasis on better than any private institution. It must be better than the institution of the articles of Nigeria. Must be better than the institutions of the articles of Nigeria. Must be better than institutions of sorry, your pastor, I can't remember his name. You know, Adepuye of Nigeria. You know, so our public institutions must not even just our public institutions, secondary schools, government secondary schools, government primary schools, quality, standard. Even big men, so-called big men that I know these politicians, they will never even come the same level. So, but I think the small big men, the petit bourgeoisie of this world, of Nigeria, can so let us even take the standard education. Let me take my child to this school, and then you will see that at the end of the day, we become same, almost same. You know, we are living our life together. The economy is benefiting. Everybody rich and the poor. So these people don't want that. You know, so that's it. We want socialism. Socialism. That's the only reaction we can get to the capitalist system to collapse. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think Freno is essentially saying that, well, based on his last statement, that we have to collapse this current rigged system, and we have to participate in fixing the mess as a collective. That is his recommendation, and yes. So yes, Freno has submitted very excellently today, and this is the kind of feedback that we want from the Nigerian people, and we just hope that they keep tuning into Movement Radio so that we can rub minds and have heart-to-heart discussion. We'll talk heart-to-heart. We will reflect and we talk about our problem and map out a solution to it. And we have started the journey already. It's just a matter of us moving steadily, one step at a time. And we have a quote on the screen right now. Mr. Abdullahi, can you just read while we wait for our host to reconnect with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I just want you all to continue. Forget about the quote. If you're deciding to read the other article, I could put it back on. If any other person wants to speak, and
the article, yeah. Can you bring the article so that we can just make do with it, and
okay. Okay, let's move. We just read it, yeah.
Okay. Being nice is not excuse for defending the indefensible. After service today, a conversation stopped me in my track. A young woman.
The author is Abdullahi.
Okay, I wanted to say it at the end, but no problem.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Being nice is no excuse for defending the indefensible. I think can you put it a little bit down so that I will see the author's
name?
name?
You can see it. Okay.
Yes.
You see it now?
Yes, by Mamachi Omo.
Mati Umo.
Uh, Mati, Mati or Umo. Sorry
Okay.
for the name because it's not something. After service today, a conversation stopped me in my track. A young woman died during childbirth, not from a rare complication, not from something medicine could not have addressed. She died because blood and oxygen were not available when they needed them. She left behind 3 kids and grief. Someone in the conversation called it unfortunate. Then move on. These things happens everywhere. They said in the other nations worse things are going on. It is because they don't report it. The children are in the bush. We are not the only ones suffering. Then, when the conversation turned to accountability, the same person said, every time, everything, Tinubu, what are we as people? Leave the man alone. He is the number one citizen. People are not just conclude against anyone who supports him. At some point, the rant ended, and the silence that followed. Someone in the room gestured toward this same person and said, "You know what, though? They are they are a good person. They are a good person regardless. They are just strong APC members. I call them the mandators." I did not argue. I asked one question. Are they good or are they just nice? This is not a semantic exercise. It is the most important distinction I think Nigeria needs to make it right now. Let me address the deflection first because it's deserve a direct response. Yes, other nations have problems. That is true and completely irrelevant. The standard for Nigerian governance is not the flaw set by the world worst examples. It is the basic duty of Nigeria of care that every citizen is owed by the state they pay their taxes to, vote for, and live under. Comparison of suffering elsewhere has never once built a road, stocked a blood bank, or stabilized a currency. It is a rhetorical device signed to make the accountability feel unreasonable. It is not an argument, it is a distraction. Now, one on the question of whether blood in a hospital is the president's responsibility. It is a fair question and it deserves a fair answer. Hospital supply chains are managed at the state level. Health minister, commissioner, and local administrator carry direct health. Sorry, carrying direct operational responsibility. This is true. A balanced reading of Nigerian governance must acknowledge that the presidency is not a vending medicine from which every resource is dispensed. And yet, the president set the national budget and determine what percentage of it goes to health. The president appoints the minister who sets policies. The president economic decision determine whether states have the physical capacity to function. When the naira collapse, medical supplies prices in foreign currency becomes inaccessible to public hospitals. When fuel costs triple, supply chains supply chains break down. When the cost of living makes it impossible for healthcare workers to remain in Nigeria, hospitals lose the people who are supposed to save lives. These are not coincidence. These are consequence, and consequence have authors. To hold the president accountable for the state of the nation is not a vendetta. It is a civic that person who sought the highest office, who campaigned for the mandate of Nigerian people, who swore on oath to protect and serve this nation, is responsible for the direction of this nation. That is not an attack. That is the definition of the job. So when I say that the president has been irresponsible in his duty to Nigeria at this time, I am not being disrespectful, I'm being precise. Now back to the room and the person in it. Niceness is a social skill. Most people have it. You see it at event, in comment section, in the essay warmth of someone who knows how to read a room. The pleasant greetings, the generous gesture at the right moment, and the person energy reserved for those in the same cycle, same church, same tribe, same class. It feels like goodness. It present like goodness, but the two are not the same. Goodness is a moral position. It revealed not by how you treat the people in your orbit, but by what you are willing to tolerate, defend, excuse happening to people you will never meet. The people I am thinking about are not monsters. They show, sorry, a little bit down. They show up for, down a little, please. Down a little more. Sorry. And thank you. They show up for their families. They are generous within their cycle. They are by most social measures pleasant human beings. So up. But they have also spent 2 years reaching for every available excuses to avoid a simple reckoning with what this administration has cost ordinary Nigerians. The fuel subsidy removal without credible palliatives, the naira is sustained free fall, food costs that have not put basic nutrition beyond the reach of millions, hospitals that cannot stock blood, pro, pro, protest met with force instead of dialogue. These are not acts of God. They are policy outcomes, and policies have defenders. I am not writing from emotions. I follow logic to where it leads. And what the logic keeps revealing it is this. There is a point at which defending the indefensible stops being loyal and becomes something else entirely. When the evidence in this consistent, this widespread, and this visible continuous support is not faith, it is a choice, and choice have moral weight. We speak often about community, about our responsibility to one another, but community cannot be limited to the people we can see. It must extend to the farmer whose production costs have tripled, the graduate who has quietly given up and is still filling out visa application, to even the most written off countries, the family living one emergency away from ruin, the woman who went to a hospital to bring life into the world did not come home. These are not statistics. They are the direct human cost of governance that was chosen, celebrated, and continued to be excused. Accountability is not an insult. Criticism, not cruelty. Asking hard questions of power is not an attack on a person's dignity. It is the minimum that a self-respecting people owes itself. Some of these nicest people around us are not good. They are comfortable, and this season comfort has a body count. When did we decide that excusing preventable death was the price of social harmony? When did we decide that because there is terrorism in the country, our own children should sleep in forest? When did we decide that banditry had become normal? When did we decide that a mother could walk into a public hospital and not walk out? And that was simply how things are. When did we decide that Naira losing value by the weeks was background noise? When did we decide that young people leaving this country in waves was not a national emergency but a personal choice? When did we decide that hunger was not a policy failure but a spiritual test? When did we decide that asking question of power was a problem and not the power that refused to answer? I grew up hearing that there is no peace for the wicked, and yet I am here unable to sleep, unable to drop my child at school without a panic attack tightening in my chest, unable to look at the clock in the evening without counting the minutes until I know my teenager is safely at home, lying awake, turning all of this over because something in me refuse to make peace with what we are being asked to normalize. I am not the one defending this. I'm not the one reaching for other tragedy nations tragedy to avoid our own reckoning. I am not the one calling any of this good. So I will ask pl- plainly, how do we all sleep? Because if your conscience is undisturbed by all this, that is not peace. That is numbness. And numbness in this season, it is own kind of danger. It's its own kind of danger. Niceness is a skill. Goodness is a standard. Nigeria deserve people who know the difference. By Marty Omo. Thank you so much.
That's a very good and powerful article. It speaks to our present contextual situation, particularly those of you who go online to have discussions with fellow Nigerians. The things that come out of their mouths, the things they defend, the things they give excuses to. Yes, you call them nice people, but they are not good people. When you stand in defense of evil, when you stand to excuse evil, when you stand with evil, you might be the best man on earth, the best church going person on earth. You are not a good person. You are evil yourself. Because the impact of this administration on people's life is devastating and catastrophic. And these are people too. Just because they are not in your circle doesn't mean they don't feel the pain. Just because you are not feeling the pain doesn't mean they are not. At least empathize with their pain and stop giving excuses to evil. I just think that's a very powerful article. We need to know the difference between niceness and goodness. And we need to call these people to order who come to give excuses, to think they are playing politics, to think they are smart. Like we know we are in the Olodo uprising, the Olodo generation, but insanity should not be made mainstream. Evil should not be normalized. What is bad is bad. That's all we have. I don't know. It's 2 o'clock. How long have we been running? Should we? What do we do now? Take a break, a music break? I don't. I want to see how long we've been running. I don't know. Almost 3 hours. It's up to you guys. There's still some articles behind. People discussing. If not, you guys tell me what to do, and then we'll proceed
Yes.
from there.
We have had. I think we have done 3 articles already, right?
Already, yeah.
I think
Yes,
today's
we
show
have.
was. Yeah, I think we've had a very great show today.
Yeah, and we have more interaction in today's show also. The last time we had
Yeah.
such interaction was when we had the terrorist survival. We had more interaction. I still think our advert for where people can join in is not doing very good since they are on multiple media. And you're right, they might need two devices to to watch us visually and then join interactively. But it's been pretty good today, and so we should be rounding it up. Then you and Abdullah wanna say thank you to our audience, and I just want to announce to the audience there will be music continuation on X. We can't do that on YouTube and Facebook, so we just continue giving you good music that you will enjoy. We can't call ourselves a movement radio and not give music. There's no point of being a radio then. It's been a good show. I hope will those of you who stayed with us, you learned something. The program is recorded, so you can do a playback or watch it back later to learn something. The objective is to enlighten the minds and change narratives, and it's to educate the souls of our people so they can liberate themselves from this bondage. Uh, Thank you all for joining. My name is Alaba Ferreira, and the others would thank you, and then we would quietly exit for today. Let me see. Are you guys sure that's all we got? There's always more we got, but we have to put time in perspective. Huh?
I say we've got so much in our pouch.
Yes. But we have to put time in perspective, and
we might even call ourselves Ani article
Lapo. Benny, Ani article Lapo. Yes.
So many articles in stock.
And then maybe we go rest music for a while. Maybe we'll come back later today or tomorrow. I'm just kidding. Whatever the guys decide. If we can take it over, you and Abdullah, you guys take it over.
Thank you so very much indeed, our audience across all platforms, Facebook, X, YouTube, and of course Instagram, for joining us today. It's such an enlightenment. We promised you that it will be very insightful and deep, and the analysis will be different from what you are used to from the mainstream media. And yes, we have brought to you quite a number of very interesting articles that you would indeed enjoy to play back. And please feel free to share the link of the playback to all of your mutuals on WhatsApp, on every platform. Share it. It is recorded and it is undiluted. It is different, it's unique from what you are used to, the kind of analysis that you are used to. So thank you so very much for joining us today. Look forward to another episode. And there's no way you will be notified if you have not subscribed and turn on the notification bell on YouTube. And of course, the same thing on X. If you are yet to follow us, please follow the Movement Radio. And on Facebook too, and every other platform, do well to follow so that whenever we are live, you would be notified and you'll be able to join us and not miss out in any of the action. Thank you so very much. I pass the mic to our correspondent in Abuja.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, our presenters, our chief host, and everyone. And we thank everyone from different part of the world. And today actually has been a very good and very interactive session. We all enjoyed. I love the input from some of our audience, and we encourage and we celebrate all of you that keep giving their input, both on YouTube and on X, and we enjoy it. We like it. We need more. Encourage your friends, encourage like minds, let them come. This is your platform. You come and you air out your opinion. We always like it. So thank you so much, and we'll look forward to having you again tomorrow, same time, here, Movement Radio. I remain Abdullah Salisu. See you tomorrow. Thank you.